The Diamondback Terrapin is one of the most beautiful and important turtles here in the Florida ecosystem. We're gonna tell you a little bit about them and why it is important for us to have a captive breeding program for them.
This is an ornate diamondback terrapin. This is a turtle that is endemic to Florida. That means it's found nowhere else in the world. This is one of the most sought after turtles in the whole world, and you can see why. It's a beautiful turtle. Unfortunately, with that being a beautiful turtle and being a turtle that people want to keep, there's a motive for people to illegally collect these turtles out of the wild. One of the reasons for this is that the value in the pet trade is so high. I did an analysis on prices in 2015 that found the average value of these was around $1,500. And then by last year, another scientist did a price analysis of what was coming into Hong Kong, and he found the average value was over $2,500. So the value has actually gone up. The highest priced turtle was $4,000 going into Hong Kong. That's for the ornate diamondback terrapin. This is a Carolina diamondback terrapin. And this species is found just in a small part of northeast Florida, north of the St. Johns River, north of Jacksonville. So it has a much smaller range. You can see it's quite a bit different looking than the ornate terrapin. Terrapins eat mostly periwinkle snails. You can see the females have these big heads. They're called megacephalic, and that enables them to use their strong jaws to crush these periwinkle snails, which is their primary diet. In fact, they're very important to the ecosystem as a predator for snails. We might have overpopulations of snails that eat all the plants without these turtles. So you can kind of see the difference between a male and a female terrapin here, even though these are different subspecies. The male ornate is smaller and the females get a lot bigger. You can see the female has a shorter, stubbier tail, and the male has a longer, thicker tail. So in addition to the female being much bigger, they can also have different tails. A lot of females even get bigger than this one. This is still a young adult female. They're capable of laying 10, sometimes more than 20 eggs, and sometimes up to 3 clutches a year. So they're very productive turtles, very fecund, and this makes them excellent choices to breed in captivity. They're actually really easy turtles to breed in captivity. They're similar to care for to sliders and a lot of other turtles that a lot of people keep. One of the major threats to these turtles in the wild is also crab trapping. These turtles go in crab traps and drown because if they can't reach the surface of the water to breathe, they'll drown fairly quickly. Now, you can put a device at the mouth of a crab trap that keeps the turtle from going in. Unfortunately, right now in Florida, these devices are only required on recreational traps, which is probably about 1/3 of the crab traps out there. So commercial traps don't have to put these according to FWC rules currently.
So USARK Florida is actually proposing a captive breeding program for these guys because, as we know, as Daniel talked about earlier, these guys are very endangered of being poached in the wild because there's such high demand for them. I mean, look at these turtles. They're absolutely gorgeous, and we need to be able to breed them so we can provide for the pet trade.
This could also provide an economic benefit to Florida's reptile breeders. We should have the opportunity to work with our native species. As it is right now, you need a special permit to keep these turtles. I have an educational permit. I'm not allowed to breed these turtles. You're supposed to keep the males and females separate, so they're really discouraging captive breeding. But we think it's that captive breeding that would help supply the trade with healthy captive bred animals, and Florida's turtle breeders are some of the best breeders of turtles in the world. We produce millions of turtles annually.
Yeah, and our weather's perfect to breed pretty much any reptile, so we could really help out, fight against the poaching, because if we have the supply to meet the demand, that especially in a lot of these Asian countries, they want these turtles. And not just them, I would keep a bunch of these turtles if I could, but obviously in Florida, you need special permits and you can't even breed them. So as a business, it doesn't really make sense to just have a bunch of turtles that you can't breed, that you can't do anything with. This captive breeding program would be a game changer. We're going to be proposing this breeding program to the commissioners. We're going to be talking about them, and we're going to make our case on why we should be allowed to breed these guys. And we need everybody that has an interest in breeding them. Even if you don't have an interest and you just want to support the reptile hobby like we all do, make sure you show up. We want to make sure that we're showing our numbers, we're showing that there's people out here that care about these animals, that want to make a difference.
And we believe this is an opportunity for FWC to kind of extend an olive branch to reptile
Right,
keepers.
to
There's
show-
been a lot of negativity.
Right, right. To show that it's not just them trying to ban everything, that they are actually trying to work with us. So we'll see what happens. But as of right now, the details are in the description.
We're very proud of our new USARK Florida Diamondback Terrapin shirts. We have a logo designed by Adeline Robinson, and you can order these. Email media@usarkfl.net. They're $25 each. We'd love to see you show up to the FWC commission meeting wearing our Terrapin shirts.